Peace, everyone. Welcome to the Moroccan Post Media, the Moroccan Post School for Government and International Law. Have a wonderful class for you today, and this is and looking at the Moors being part and parcel of the United States claim. And this will be analyzed in the context of the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. As you will see that definitive peace treaty, which ended the Revolutionary War between Great Britain and the United States, is the ruling instrument and authority for the United States. So this is there's 27 questions that will be asked and answered, and we're looking forward to a very illuminating class today. We have the YouTube page, Moroccan Post, a page that you're on. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click that subscribe button and the like, and also share. While you're on live, share. Let people know that we're on live, and also post. All right, so like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And thank y'all for attending, this, our session today. We have the law and government class, the Moroccan Post School for Government and International Law course. And we have every second and fourth Wednesday of the month from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our next class, which will be not this coming Wednesday, the Wednesday after next, which will be the 9th or the 10th of March, and we're going to be dealing with the affidavit and complaint, which is part of the March 8th, Wednesday, March 8th at 7 p.m. will be our next class, and this is part of the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations series, and this is actually the 201 series. And we finished up the writ of quo warranto. We did 3 sessions on that, and we're going to spend a session on affidavit and complaint. All right, there will be samples of affidavit and complaint, and there'll be the principles of it as well as procedures will be discussed. So looking forward to seeing you there on Wednesday, March 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. First off, we want to say peace to Brother Crumb, Crumb TV. If this is your first time entering, please subscribe, like, comment. They are very important, and it's especially, so we can see where you are in your mental journey here. So please like, comment, subscribe. As you know that Crumb TV, they're expanding the network.
Yes,
so this is a good thing the brothers doing. MOI, oh man, these brothers are great. I haven't met them personally. I have yet to meet them personally.
T had to go to work that day when
yes.
Willingboro. We had with January last year when they had the conference.
Absolutely.
Here in New Jersey.
So big ups to the brothers. Brothers are doing a good thing. Just wanted to shine some light on the brothers.
Yes.
Especially on our way in, yes, on the platform today. And you can continue.
Yes.
We'll do your.
Well, yep. I have mooresandmasonry.org. You have my books, Moors and Masonry Part 1, Illuminati and Illumination of the Mind, the Masonic Competence Square and their connection and measurement and timekeeping. By the way, I was on last night. Then we had Brother Inky, who actually hosted the platform last night, and I discussed my Masonic Compass Square and the connection of my measurement and timekeeping. So you can go right to the channel and click on and watch that. It's a great 2-hour presentation that was done last night. All right, so we have how her Venus and Moon rule. etymology and vocabulary. Etymology and vocabulary part, something that you want coming your way very soon. Moors and Masonry Part 2. The recovery of lost, the power of Moorish treaties, and the recovery of lost Moorish sovereignty. So definitely go to mooresandmasonry.org to purchase the books, or you can also pre-order for Moors and Masonry. Put your order in for Moors and Masonry Part 2.
All right. So what would you like to start with, brother?
All right. So Terrence, you're going to read the introduction to the 27 questions.
All right. Let's see the introduction. Also, here's the questions.
Yeah, the questions, and then.
So you're talking about all of this here?
Yes, all of that. Mm-hmm.
All righty. Well, let's give it a go. These eyes are tired today, but I think I can do it. I think I can handle it.
Oh, so before you start there, Terrence,
right.
let's go show the book before you start there.
Oh, the asking the right questions.
Yes. All right. Asking the right question, a guide to critical thinking. Brother Yannick is putting the book in the chat. All right. So the book should be in the chat. Asking the right question, a guide to critical thinking. This will be something permanent. We will always push this book at the beginning and end of every session that we do. All right. Will also part of our from 9 to 10, and on our second and fourth Wednesday of the month, we're going to be doing a asking the right question, the guide to critical thinking, and we're going to have set up for Brother King to do a series of classes that ties to asking the right question and the guide to critical thinking, dealing with the evidence, material facts, concepts, and also how to structure a claim and to support your claim. All right. So this is a very good book. I came across this book and 32 years ago while I was in graduate school, attended Rutgers University Graduate School in Social Work in New Brunswick. And this is a very, very good book. So you can purchase the book. I recommend you purchase the book, or just let's say the book is in the chat, asking the right question, a guide to critical thinking. It is not good enough for us to say, think critically. We have to provide you with instructions as well as books that will help you increase your ability to think critically. All right. So thank you, Terrence.
All right.
So let Terrence scroll through the table of content. Thank you, Terrence. This is the table of content, so you can see the type of subject matters that are discussed in this book and how comprehensive the book is. All right.
All right.
Once again, asking the right question, the guide to critical thinking, a very, very good book. I highly recommend this book.
All right.
Purchase the book, or like I said, grab it from the chat.
Oh, crap.
Grab the link from the chat.
I'm messing up.
And read the book. Read and study the book.
All right. Pop that down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So all of this here. All right. So we'll get started with
just read the top part.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't forget about the sovereignty of the English British Crown. Note, the English British Crown extended English British sovereignty to 13 original states through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Note, the 13 original states extended British sovereignty extended to them through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States to the people of the United States. Hence, the phrase, "We, the people of the United States." I just want to make a little mental note that "we, the people of the United States" is not the Moors. Okay. We, the people of the United States, in the preamble to the United States Constitution, in the Articles of Confederation, United States of America is known as the style name. The style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. Purpose of the questions. The following Let me do like that here. Okay, purpose of the questions. The following questions are presented to the public to clarify with solid documentary evidence, critical thinking, and misinformation and misconceptions that, number one, the Moors are part and parcel or partial of the United States. Number two, the Moors are we the people in the preamble to the United States Constitution. Number three, 35 Moors were part of drafting the United States Constitution at the Constitutional Convention in 1787. Number four, the Moors are the founders of the United States. Five, the United States Constitution is the Moorish Constitution, by showing evidence that the original foundational authority for the United States is derived from Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Note, some conscious Moors have claimed for over 30 years that we the people in the preamble of the United States Constitution denotes the Moors and Moorish sovereignty. The statement, do ordain this Constitution for the United States of America. Some conscious Moors have claimed for over 30 years that this statement means the Moors are delegating authority to the Albions to function as a national government. Hence, Moors claiming the United States Constitution is the Moorish Constitution and the United States government is the Moorish government. Now, I think in Moors and Masonry, part one, you actually have that in the beginning of your book, and it looks as if you like contrast or compare the positions, the different positions that there was like Wazir and
Yes.
So Abdullah has mentioned before that even himself taught people the same misconceptions and has since then
points that you read. I taught that for 35 years.
Yes.
5 misconception points that you read. I taught for 25 years.
Yes. So I just wanted to point that out because
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's important that we point that out because you people who've seen me, who followed me for over the years, and will go back and look at the classes that I did 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. They will see that I'm pushing those 5 misconception points that Terrence just read. And they said, well, wow. All right. But I said, I am open about it. And it's about growth and development. It's about growth and development for the people. I care about the people. I don't care anything about my ego. I care nothing about that. I care about our people. So if I'm wrong, and I'm going to just get it right for the growth and development of our people, not my ego. I'm very passionate about that.
Absolutely. So therefore, Moors and Masonry Part 1 will be revised.
Yes, that next year, because I want to put out this book, the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States as the ruling authority for the United States. This is excerpt of this book. All right, coming out this fall, about November.
All right.
November.
All right.
Because we want to put out the book series, the Moorish, the Moroccan Post, School for Government and International Law book series. So when we're going to be working on those once Moors and Masonry Part 1, Part 2 is in your hand, then I'll jump on those book series, and then I'll be able to get this book, the Definitive Peace Treaty book, out in the fall.
All right.
So this is the preview of the book.
All right. So so I'll continue. Misconception. We the people of the United States, in parenthesis, the pre-existing Moorish Empire, do ordain this Constitution for the United States of America. In parenthesis, the 13 original states. Misconception. We the people of the United States, is the repository of the Moorish sovereignty and the source of government power. Do ordain this Constitution for the United States of America, the 13 original states. Misconception. Moors are part and parcel, or part and partial, of this said government and must live the life accordingly. We get a lot of blowback at that.
Yes,
because
people block
because
us.
yes, because it's a lot of belief that when somebody says that we are part and parcel or part and partial, either way you want to disguise it, of the United States or of this said government, we get a lot of blowback. People vibe with us. You guys are doing a good thing, and then as soon as we say, well, we're not part and parcel or part and partial of this said government, they turn their backs and walk away.
Yeah.
Because they highly believe, without study, that we are that we're part and partial of the United States.
Point. Believe, not know that. I mean, they don't know that. So they can't tell you or prove to you, not tell you anything. They can't prove to you that they know that. It's only a belief. They believe that. They don't know that. To know that is to present the evidence. The evidence shows you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So this is major. You're talking about our lives here. Our lives. This is nothing to play with. You talking about how you going to raise millions of our people on a position you can't even prove. Millions. You want millions of our people to hear you on something you can't even prove. This is our lives here. This is very, 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 very serious. This is not a joke. This is not a playground, y'all. Prove it. Because we can prove that we're not. Prove that we are. We'll prove that we're not.
All right. I'll get back to it here. Okay, I'll read that one again. Misconception. Mm-hmm. Moors are part and partial or part and parcel of this said government and must live the life accordingly. So, isn't that saying that we must live the life as United States citizens?
Yes.
Okay.
According to United States citizens, according to United States laws. I mean, absolutely.
Okay. So I see a lot of Moors saying I'm not a United States citizen, but turn around and are quoting United States laws and nationality paperwork. It's heavily coded in United States, codes.
Yes.
Statutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that doesn't make any sense to me. So
that's where. All right, let's address that. All right, they're saying that they're not United States citizens, but they're not saying they're citizens of what though. So you're telling me, all right. All right. Instead of saying you're not a United States citizen, say you're a citizen of. Mm-hmm. Like people don't say they're not that. They say they're what they're a citizen of. Like you don't hear people say they're not a citizen of X. They say what they're a citizen of. We hear conscious Moors say they're not a United States citizen, but you never hear them say I am a citizen of. Like saying you're not a United States citizen, all right, then what are you a citizen of then? I'm a citizen of what? You have to claim some under what protection, under what sovereignty are you being protected? You're a citizen of what? Oh, I'm a citizen of the Moorish government. Oh, wow. Well, Moorish sovereignty has yet to be recovered. Moorish sovereignty has yet to be recovered. There are Moors out there, conscious Moors, who are playing house. They're conscious Moors who are playing house, like my daughter Tamison, when she was 1, 2, 3 years old. She had the play stove. This is conscious Moors, like my daughter, when she was 1, 2, 3 years old. All right. And with the play stove and play cabinets and everything. Those are conscious Moors, all right, who are in that category are playing house. They're making this claim that they have recovered, all right, to say that you have established a Moorish national federal government or Moorish national government. To make that claim, you're making the claim that you have recovered the lost Moorish sovereignty. One, you're making a claim that you have re-entered the family of nations as an old individual state under the reversion of sovereignty. You're making a claim that you have reestablished diplomatic relations and consular relations with the treaty nations with which we negotiated treaties on the 15, 16, 1700s. You're making a claim that you have deposited a national constitution in the depository of the United Nations for all nations in the world to review. So let's look at, so let's be clear. So you're making a claim, I'm not done. You're making a claim that you have facilitated a plebiscite where millions of conscious Moors have voted. You're making a claim that you have established caucuses for candidates to be nominated and appointed to run for office. You're making a claim that there were national campaigns and national elections. You're making a claim that there were those national results of those national elections were published in national newspapers. You're making that claim. Once you understand the principles, measured by you're making it. I'm not done. You're making a claim that there before that you drafted that a body of conscious Moors were delegated to go to a Moorish National Constitutional Convention and draft a national written constitution at a Moorish National Constitutional Convention. You're making a claim that there was a ratification convention. All right? Making that claim. Where's the evidence? 10 Moors out of 50, 10 Moors out of 40 million? 20 Moors out of 40 million? 50 Moors out of 40 million? These constant Moors will hurt you. They will hurt you. You make that claim, they will hurt you. I didn't vote for them. Who they? They will hurt you. Once again, they like my daughter Tamison. When Tamison was 1, 2 years old. Like they playing house. They're playing house. What's this about? This is serious, y'all. I have to talk like this. I have to talk like this, man. We're showing the world that we are ignorant. We're showing the world that we don't know political science. We're showing the world that we don't know political philosophy. We're showing the world that we don't know international law. We're showing the world that we don't understand due process. We're showing the world that we don't understand the principles of the will of the people. We're showing the world that we don't understand the principles of self-determination. We're showing the world that we don't understand the principles for political legitimacy. We're showing the world that you will not be respected by anyone in the world. Because if you if you do not facilitate those principles among your people, the principles of political legitimacy, the will of the people, the consent of the people, if you do not due process, free open elections, if you do not show the world that you have not facilitated those principles among your own people, what makes you think you're going to be honorable to them if you're showing the world that you're not honorable among your own people? What makes you think you're going to be honorable? But I have to talk like this. This is serious. Once again, these conscious Moors are like my daughter when she was 1-2 years old playing in house. See, they don't know how serious this is. Because when you're talking about the world, you're talking about people who know. If you don't show honor among your people, well, they ain't gonna show honor among us. They effing their own people over. No open elections. No caucuses to choose candidates. No constitutional convention. No facilitation of plebiscite. Self-appointment. No national elections. No national campaigns. No publishing of the results of the elections. If you, like I said, T, if they block us, T, let them block us. I mean, we've been blocked. T, I'd rather be blocked for teaching the right principles than to be loved for teaching the wrong principles.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move down.
All right, let's move on. All right. Here it is. Oh, I got to finish reading that one. I'll read up under it here. Okay, so I'll just read it through. Misconceptions. Moors are part and parcel or part and partial of the said government and must live their life accordingly. Federal government, the Moors. We, the people of the United States, do ordain this Constitution for the United States of America, the United States governments, the Albions. Okay.
Misconceptions. That's taught for 25 years.
Misconceptions. Yeah, absolutely. The misinformation or misconception is that the Moors established the federal central government and the Albions established the 13 original state governments. Should this claim be true, it would mean that the delegates from the original states did not convene at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, representing as delegates their respective states. And I'll read that one again. All right. This claim should be true. If this claim should be true, it would mean that the delegates from the 13 original states did not convene at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, representing as delegates their respective states. Should this claim be true, it would mean that the delegates from the states did not revise the Articles of Confederation. If this claim be true, it would mean that the delegates from the 13 states did not sign the Constitution, which when you go to the bottom of that Constitution, you will see all of the delegates that signed the Constitution as delegates, not as individuals, but as delegates, representatives representing each of the 13 states.
Absolutely.
Which you don't see any more, names, or, okay, I'll keep going. If this claim be true, it'll mean that the 13 original states did not hold ratification conventions in 1788 to ratify the Constitution after the Constitutional Convention. Proper concept. Here we go. Article 1 of the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States allows each of the 13 states to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in each of the 13 English/British charters, royal charters, proprietary charters, and company charters charted under the sovereignty of the English/British crown during the 1700s. Proper concept. The 13 original states never were colonies. The 13 original states were established when freemen and esquires convened in constitutional conventions and drafted constitutions and ratified those constitutions in 1776 and 1777. The 13 original states are separate political bodies from the 13 English colonies, proprietary colonies, royal colonies, and company colonies, chartered under the sovereignty of the English/British crown. Note, examine the language in the royal charters, proprietary charters, and company charters to learn what the 13 English colonies are. Proper concept. Maryland and Virginia ceded the District of Columbia 10 square miles to the United States federal government in 1790. It was retroceded to Virginia in 1847. United States Congress approved the retrocession in 1847. Arlington and Alexandria. Note, see Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States to understand this point. Plan of the city of Washington in the territory of Columbia, ceded by the states of Virginia and Maryland to the United States of America, and by them established as the seat of government after the year 1800. Maps at the Tennessee State Library and Archives, Tennessee Virtual Archive. And we have in fact, let me see. I'll do this right now here. I'll take this and I'm going to copy this. I can't copy it from here. I was going to put it in the chat. I'll see if I can put it in the chat later. All right. Point of clarification. The United States is not a child of Great Britain. Okay, I got to read that. I had to read that one again. Okay, point of clarification. The United States is not a child of Great Britain. The United States is a child of the 13 original states through the Articles of Confederation of 1781. The 13 original states through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States claim rights under the colonies' charters, royal charters, proprietary charters, and company charters granted under the sovereignty of the English/British crown. Misconception and point of clarification. Conscious Moors are being misguided to based on Moorish sovereignty on the United States.
To base more sovereignty. I thought there'd be to base more sovereignty.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can correct this right now. I'm just like, boom.
There you go, my man.
There we go. All right. Let's read that again. Misconception and point of clarification. Conscious Moors are being misguided to base Moorish sovereignty on the United States Constitution, when in fact Moorish sovereignty is a pre-existing sovereignty. Pre-existing, y'all. All right, let's get into the questions. All right, question number 1. Did the Revolutionary War, and I think this is going to head to New Haven.
Yeah.
All right. Did the Revolutionary War between Great Britain and the United States extinguish pre-Revolutionary War contracts that were granted to British subjects by the British Crown during 16 and 1700s and British colonies?
All right.
Abdullah.
And in the case, the defense attorney for New Haven, this is the case between the gospel of the propagated faith, of the society versus New Haven. Now, the defense attorney for New Haven argued had that mindset that most people have today, and may argue that the society does not have any rights to claim under the charter that was granted to them by the crown, English crown, because the Revolutionary War extinguished that right. That's the prevailing thought that Albions as well as unconscious Moors have, that the Revolutionary War, extinguished all rights that Albions had under the charters. All right, that is not the case. The United States Supreme Court ruled in 1843, Society versus New Haven case in the United States Supreme Court, that the Revolutionary War did not extinguish pre-Revolutionary War contracts. Let's read this, Steve.
All right. So I just want to show you guys Society versus New Haven, U.S. Supreme Court. So it's a Supreme Court case. All right. Okay. We'll just scroll down to this section here. It says the property of British corporations in this country is protected by the 6th article of the Treaty of Peace of 1783, in the same manner as those of natural persons, and their title thus protected is confirmed by the 9th article of the Treaty of 1794, so that it could not be forfeited by any intermediate legislative act or other proceeding for the defect of alienage. The termination of a treaty by war does not divest rights of property already vested under it, nor do treaties in general become extinguished ipso facto by war between the two governments. Those stipulating for a permanent arrangement of territorial and other national rights are at most suspended during the war, not extinguished, but suspended during the war, and revive at the peace unless they are waived by the parties, or new and repugnant stipulations are made. The act of the legislature of Vermont of the 30th of October 1794 granted the lands in that state belonging to the Society for the Propagating the Gospel in Foreign Parts to the respective towns in which the lands lie, is void and conveys no title under it.
All right. So as you see here, that the Revolutionary War did not extinguish pre-Revolutionary War rights, as was uttered by the defense attorney for New Haven in this case, Society versus New Haven in the United States Supreme Court in 1843.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get back.
Was 1823? 1823.
Okay.
Right?
Yep, 1823. You're right. All right, so let's go back to the questions here. All right. Question number 2. Does the United States derive its original foundational authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British colonies charters from Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States? Or does the United States original foundational authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British colonies charters derived from the United States Constitution drafted in 1787?
All right. The answer is neither. It's neither. All right. So let's go to society. Let's go to people versus. Let's go to the Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty. The answer is neither. It's neither. You said United States. Does the United States derive authority to operate?
Oh, you know what? Let me bring that up.
In the boundaries laid out in the 13 colonies charters from the Definitive Peace Treaty or from the United States Constitution? The answer is neither. We're going to go to Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States and have a supporting case, People versus Godfrey of 1819, which is the New York Supreme Court case. Those are 2 points that we're going to reference, all right, to show you prove to you that it's neither.
All right. I didn't have that one up before, but let's see. I think this might be it
All
here.
right.
I think this might be it. 7. Is that it over there?
Yes, the defendant peace treaty. Yes, go down.
Is that it?
That's it. Article.
Let me know when Article 1 shows up.
Article 1.
Here it is. Here it is.
Yes, there we go.
All right, I'm going to bring this over so everybody can see it here. There we go. All right. Okay, I'll show you what it is here. All right, so this is the definitive peace treaty between the United States and Great Britain, 3rd of September, 1783. We'll scroll down to the Article 1. His Britannic Majesty acknowledge the said United States, viz. Okay, viz is namely New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and the Providence Plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia to be free and independent states. All right, so to be free and independent states, that he treats them as such, and for himself, his heirs, and successors relinquishes all claims to the government, propriety, and territorial rights of the same in every part thereof.
All right. So if you look, let's look at this.
Okay.
You have the word viz, which is Latin for namely. You have the listing of the 13 original states. You have the word states, which is plural, and you have the personal pronoun of the objective case, them, which is plural. Now, T, I want you to read it without viz in the 13 states. Read it without the viz in the 13 states.
Okay. His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the said United States that he treats with them as such, and for himself, his heirs, successors, relinquishes all claims to the government propriety and territorial rights of the same in every part thereof.
All right, then he treats with them. All right, so without the viz in the 13 states, you have them in states.
Mm-hmm.
As you have them in states. Why is it this construction here? Because this construction is in Articles of Confederation. Viz.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they have viz here? Why was it necessary for them to write viz and name each of them individually? If you remove that, if you remove the viz and the name them, all right, then the second question, then the second question would be the answer to the second question that you read, T, would be the definitive peace treaty. Mm-hmm. It says United States. It reads United States. That's in the question. Mm-hmm. Does the United States derive? Let's go to People versus Godfrey. Does the United States derive? Does the United States derive? Let's go to People versus Godfrey.
All right. Let's look for People.
Does the United States derive?
All right. So I thought this is Shim calling me. Hey, how's my phone ringing and it's on silent? I don't know. All right. Here goes. Okay, so this is People versus Godfrey, 1819. All right.
This is the New York Supreme Court case. A New York Supreme Court case.
All right.
204-year-old New York Supreme Court case.
All right. So I'm gonna make this a little bigger, sir.
204-year-old.
All right. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. All right. Can everybody see that? All right. In the Supreme Court, Attorney General Thomas Oakley represented the people while Godfrey was represented by Daniel Caddy. The arguments focused on the history of the fort at Niagara, which had originally belonged to France, was captured by the British in 1759. It was transferred from France to Britain. That was Shim. It was transferred from France. I'm sorry, I kind of lost it. That was Shim calling here. Oh man, I lost it here. I'm sorry. Let me start over here. I'm starting right here. The arguments focused on the history of the fort at Niagara, which had originally belonged to France, was captured by the British in 1759, and was transferred from France to Britain under the 1763 Treaty of Paris. Following the Revolutionary War, the right of the British Crown to the territory comprising comprising the state of New York became vested in the people of New York in full sovereignty. The Treaty of 1783 recognized the boundaries of New York State, and the Articles of Confederation expressly reserved the sovereignty of each state. The fort itself was surrendered to the United States. All right, so it was surrendered here. Surrendered, not ceded, but was surrendered to the United States under the Treaty of 1794. And since that time, it had been possessed and garrisoned by the United States. The Supreme Court held that the fort was subject to the jurisdiction of the state, since the lands upon which it stood had not been ceded. Here it is, had not been ceded. It's been surrendered, but not ceded here. Just pay attention to that. Had not been ceded to the United States. Chief Justice Ambrose Spencer, who wrote the opinion of the court, in which he stated that it was beyond all doubt that the United States acquired no territorial rights to any portion of the state of New York under the treaties of 1783 and 1794.
New York State acquired it, not the United States. That's why Viz is there, because they're reserving. So New York State acquired. New York State acquired the right under the Duke of York Charter. New Jersey
Royal Charter.
The Duke of York Royal Charter.
So that's
the Duke of York Royal Charter of 1664. New York State acquired the right through Article 1 of the Definitive Treaty. The New Jersey State acquired the right under the proprietary charter of New Jersey Colony. North Carolina State acquired the right under the proprietary colony of North Carolina State under Article 1 through Article 1 of the Definitive Treaty. South Georgia State acquired the right under the proprietary charter of Georgia and through the Definitive Peace Treaty of 1783, and it goes on and on. Virginia State acquired the right under the Virginia Company Charter through Article 1 of Definitive Peace Treaty, not the United States. That's why United States Viz, and it has them, treats with them, and it's states, plural. It's all in that Article 1. They're assuming rights under the charters, colony charters, proprietary charters, royal charters, and company charters.
All right.
Third question.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
let's hit them up. Let's hit them up. All right. Third question. Do the original 13 states derive their authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British charters from their states' constitutions of 1776, Declaration of Independence 1776, Articles of Confederation, more recent states Constitution or the United States Constitution.
Read that again, Terrence.
All righty. Do the original 13 states, do the original 13 states derive their authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British charters from their states' constitutions of 1776, Declaration of Independence of 1776, Articles of Confederation, more recent states' constitutions, or the United States Constitution drafted in 1787?
None of the above. From Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States, or the article of which we just read.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the above.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You see why that treaty is the ruling authority. We're going to continue so they can see for themselves. I want them to say Abdullah said anything.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to move on to number 4. Number 4. Do the original 13 states derive their foundational authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 British/English charters from Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States?
Yes. And I said I reworded it a certain way, all right, so as to get people to think. Because why? Because people think that they derived their authority from the Declaration of Independence. Others think that you're from the United States Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that don't forget about British sovereignty. Don't forget about the Definitive Peace Treaty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Let's go to, what are we at, 5?
5.
Okay, 5. Did the English/British Crown relinquish its territory jurisdictional boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British charters to each of the 13 original states through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States, or to the United States?
All right. Notice how the questions are structured to reinforce the learning. The questions are structured to reinforce learning. This is from my years of teaching. All right. Article 1, as we read, of the Definitive Peace Treaty. Go back to that, T.
Okay.
It was to reinforce learning.
All right. It's up here somewhere. Hold on. Give me 1 second. It's up here. Where are we? It's somewhere up here.
All right. So Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States, His Britannic Majesty acknowledges United States, viz., and each of them are named individually. You need to understand that construction. And what does that mean? What does that construction mean legally to name them individually? Because viz, V-I-Z, Latin means namely. And that structure is in the Articles of Confederation, where they're retaining their rights as separate, independent, sovereign states, retaining that. And they retained it in Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty. So they retained it. So so this, they're able to operate New York, New Jersey, New York State, New Jersey State, South Carolina State, North Carolina State, Georgia State, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Massachusetts Bay, were allowed to operate through this Article 1 in the boundaries laid out in the 13, the company charters, the royal charters, and the proprietary charters through this Article 1.
Mm-hmm.
You take away this, they don't have that. You take away this Article 1, they don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution doesn't give them that. How is the Constitution, United States Constitution, the ruling instrument when the United States Constitution doesn't give them this?
Mm-hmm.
The United States Constitution doesn't give them this authority. So somebody, please, someone, any scholar in the world, answer to me how. All right. New York State Supreme Court and People versus Godfrey stood on Article 1. This is a military base in People versus Godfrey. What happened? A soldier, an army soldier, had killed another army soldier who was actually a prisoner, was held as a prisoner with a bayonet on their way to the barracks. So the ruling, who had jurisdiction now? Who has jurisdiction over the case? Is it New York State or the federal government? Well, the federal government claimed to have jurisdiction. United States federal government claimed to have jurisdiction because it's a military barrack. So New York State said, whoa. Oh, don't forget about the definitive peace treaty.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they referenced that. They referenced the 1783 definitive peace treaty and made their claim to have authority over the barrack, have their authority over the case because where the barracks lie. And they based their claim on the 1783 definitive peace treaty as it reads, His Britannic Majesty acknowledge the United States, viz.,
mm-hmm.
namely, that's where they made their claim to in that language.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that wasn't there, the viz, take out those states, then they wouldn't have the claim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to say Abdullah said anything.
Mm-hmm. And here it is right here. Article 1. And then you have it here.
Right there.
There's no rights. Right here.
17.
There's nothing. All of this right here. Just read this whole thing. Boom. Leads you right into it.
You see the treaties, 1783 and 1794, which is the J Treaty,
mm-hmm.
the Treaty of Navigation and Commerce between Great Britain and United States, also known as the J Treaty, because John Jay was Secretary of State when that was and that was a major issue there because you got these European, these Albions, because they didn't once again, not thinking that Great Britain had any claim here, nothing, that the Revolutionary War extinguished everything. Great Britain had no voice here no more. They was in that mindset. So they yelling and shouting at John Jay, and what you mean, John Jay? What you mean?
So Abdullah,
because that's that false history, T.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna force their hand by our raising the level of knowledge of this true history. We're gonna force the Albions. We're gonna force the United States. We're going to force the United States to legislate for all the states. We're going to force all the states to legislate new curriculum to teach the truth about who we are in the curriculum. As we raise how you do that, Abdullah, by doing what we're doing, teach in mass numbers, organized network and mass numbers, organized, large scale, organized community outreach. Our rising knowledge and political organized structure will force their hand to teach the truth about who we are. Because then they have to deal with us, what? On the level based on our status, based on, meaning they're dealing with us as subjects that they created a fictional category, black nigger colored. That's how they're dealing with us. They're not dealing with us as they dealt with us in 1785. They're not dealing with us as they dealt with us in 1777. They're not dealing with us like that. I mean, how to deal with us is already on the table. There's nothing to figure out. It's already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we got to get our act together. I mean, they already know how to deal with us on that level. I mean, they already know how to deal with us on that level. We don't know how to deal with us and them on this level. Claiming to be a consul, don't deal with letter extrators, don't deal with the receiving state. I mean, so we don't know how to deal with them on this level, but they know how to deal with us on this level. Yes, they do. Now, they're not used to doing it. They have knowledge because they have knowledge of international law and consular relations, and they have that knowledge, but they're not used to deal. I mean, they're used to dealing with us as subjects. They're not used to dealing with us on this level. We've been there with their subjects. They're subjugating us and disguising it under the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment and the Emancipation Proclamation. Go ahead, T.
All right. Quick question. What is the importance of these opinions that comes from the Chief Justice Ambrose Spencer, like in the Supreme Court cases?
Yes, very, very important. All right. These because their opinions have to be in writing, and their opinions are viewed, particularly United States Supreme Court cases dealing with dealing with the definitive peace treaty. Their opinions are also viewed by the ambassador of Great Britain. So they just can't arbitrarily, great question, arbitrarily write their feelings, because you're dealing with international law. So not only the ambassador of Great Britain, but other ambassadors throughout the world, because this is a matter of international law. All right, here we go. T just makes me open things up. What led to 1787? What led to the Constitutional Convention of 1787? This definitive peace treaty. By 1780, all of the states had enacted the Confiscation Act and some the Trespassing Act. The Tories or loyalists, those who remain loyal to Great Britain, were called loyalists. Tories is a political party in Great Britain. Those British subjects who remained loyal to the crown came back from Great Britain to enter onto their property, only to be arrested because the 13 states had enacted the Trespassing Act and Confiscation Act, that they were confiscating the property. Alexander Hamilton, though he was a patriot, not a loyalist, of course he wants to get paid, 22-year-old lawyer, he wants to get paid, so he representing wealthy Tory loyalists. He represented them he represented 60 cases. Now, when the Treaty of Paris was signed, the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States on September 3rd, 1783, the 13 states didn't take those laws off the books. Those laws, those Confiscation Acts and Trespassing Acts still remained. The states were enforcing the Confiscation Act and the Trespassing Act even after the treaty of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States had been ratified on January 14, 1794. So they was 1784, January 14, 1784. So this must be a major issue. This was a major issue because now you have this treaty in place. This is a peace treaty that ended the war. But you have the states here that still have on the books this Confiscation Act. So now you have this major issue here. So John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, and James Madison led the way to 1787, even writing the authors of the Federalist Papers, because they wanted to teach the people the principles of federalism so that they can create a stronger instrument, a more perfect union. By creating a stronger instrument would have solid principles of international law, so that they wanted to have an instrument that will allow them to be in compliance with the treaty. This was a major issue. The Articles of Confederation, drafted during wartime. The Articles of Confederation was drafted in 1777 and signed and ratified in 1781. So it was drafted during wartime. But now you're not in wartime. You got a peace treaty. So that doesn't prove to be effective now. The states, it made it easy for the states to not adhere or be in compliance with the treaty and international law. This is a major issue. This cannot continue. John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison led the way. They used Vitale's work, Emir de Vitale, the Laws of Nations. He's heavily referenced in the Federalist Papers. So the principles of international law are embodied in the United States Constitution. They needed to be an instrument that will allow them to be in compliance with the laws of nations. And also, so you had two major issues here: war debt and compliance with the law of nations and treaties. Two major issues. They had to go to the states. The states were slow moving and sending up money to pay the war debt. You cannot have that. That's a collapse. All right. So this is major. Now, where do Moors fit into that? Where's the documentation? I don't want to hear anyone say anything. Show me. Show me. I'll shut. As soon as you open your mouth, you don't open your mouth. Don't have to open your mouth. Just show me. Just show me the evidence. Don't need to open your mouth. Just show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. That's it. That's all it takes. It doesn't take anything out your mouth. You don't say anything. You don't say anything to me. You show me. Don't say it. Show me. Saying means nothing. Show me where we fit into that. What I just said. You talk about the Defender Peace Treaty. Where we fit into that. Show me evidence, not say it. All right, T, we can move on to the next question.
All right, let's move on. All right, let me grab it. I was trying to grab the United States Constitution because even in the beginning of that, it shows where they were. What does it say? In order to yes. Form a more perfect union.
Yeah, not because they already had a union.
Not the former union, but
they had a union, Articles of Confederation. Then a more perfect union. That Constitution forms a more perfect union. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's structured for them to be in compliance with the international law, for international law and the law and the treaties, as well as being able to, the way it's structured, to be able to collect finance from the states to pay off debt. So it's structured for a more perfect union. They already had a union. Mm-hmm. Why more perfect? What it is that for over 30 years, some conscious Moors have been teaching, and I was one of them for 25 years, right here. Abdullah Bey for 25 years, taught thousands of people that more perfect union denotes a perfect union between the Moroccan Empire and the United States, between the Moors and the Europeans. That this preamble is for the Moors and the Europeans, and that this is for the Moors and the Europeans forming a more perfect union. There's no documented evidence to support that. There's popular evidence to support I'm saying because the 13 states had a union, but it was not a perfect union.
Yep, here it is. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and blah blah blah. All right, let's go. Boom. All right. Question number 6. Does the Declaration of Independence of 1776 mark the independence for the United States?
All right. All right. So the 13 colonies and the land boundaries where the 13 and the Moorish territory that's outlined in the 13 in the royal charters, the royal charters, the proprietary charters, and the company charters. The third during in 1776, they were not allowed. Like what authorized them in 17 the Declaration of Independence did not authorize them to operate in the boundaries of the 13 colony charters. Like you said, independence. So they negotiated a treaty with France in 1778. You know, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Morocco acknowledged them December 1777 with official initial recognition in February 1778. But I'm saying that where were they operating? They were not allowed to operate. Remember that war with Great Britain. That war with Great Britain. Great Britain didn't acknowledge them. Great Britain didn't acknowledgement. Great Britain didn't relinquish anything. Great Britain allowed them to operate in the territory. That wasn't until the definitive peace treaty. So the Declaration of Independence holds this great weight. So what is the definitive peace treaty? All right, take the treaty away. All right, no problem. I got you. Take the treaty away. Stand on the Declaration of Independence. Take the treaty away. Now you got the Declaration of Independence. Take the treaty away. When you take the treaty away, New York State don't have no right to be there. Take the treaty away. Delaware State ain't got no rights to be there. All right. So now that's the parent company now. Come on, T. The parent company. The 13 original states, that's the parent. Take the treaty away. New York State, Delaware State, Commonwealth Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Virginia, North Carolina State, Georgia State, South Carolina State, Rhode Island State, Maryland State, Massachusetts State, Vermont State. Come on, T. Take the treaty away.
Absolutely.
They don't have the only way they have authority to be there, T, to assume rights under the charter is through that treaty. Take it away, T. How to stand on the Declaration of Independence? They don't mean the parent company collapses. You see what happens, T, when you really, when you put the spotlight on this treaty. What we're doing, T, we're putting the spotlight on this treaty. What they've done was they've taken the spotlight off of it.
No, of course.
Every July 4th. July 4th. July 4th. They've taken the spotlight off of it. By putting the spotlight on it and emphasizing spotlight on it. Go, ooh.
Because that's what they refer back to when they're reviewing cases, and even to operate to have that permission to operate in those territories coming from the royal charters and
People versus Godfrey.
Oh, absolutely.
People versus
That's
Godfrey.
it.
Martin versus Waddle.
And they're going all back to that treaty.
Yes, they are.
They're all going back to that treaty.
St. Abdullah said, New York State stood on what? They went to that treaty. Then they went to that treaty case, that treaty T.
Definitive peace treaty.
Oh,
absolutely.
Why didn't they go to the Declaration of Independence?
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question. That's an old treaty.
I already know he's going. It's void. It doesn't mean nothing because it's old.
Because it's so has it expired?
No.
So where does that come from? Where does that these treaties are old? These treaties expire
from conscious Moors who have not studied. From conscious Moors who have not studied. I'm just playing. I don't know the answer from conscious Moors who haven't studied.
Right.
All right. Well, because all right, let's look at it. I said from conscious Moors who have not studied. All right. 1952 case between France and United States in the International Court of Justice. There was three types of treaties to determine the extent of the United States consular jurisdiction in Morocco. The first type of treaty, the primary type of treaty, is the Moorish bilateral treaties between 10 European powers from 1631 to 1891. The second type of treaties that was used, the two multilateral treaties, the Treaty of the Act of Algiers of 1880, Act of Algiers 1906, and the Act Protect Morocco of 1880. The third type of treaty is the Fez Treaty of 1912. France stood on those Moorish treaties that are no good. That don't mean jack. They all inspired in whatever these conscious Moors are saying, and won her case. There was a res judicata. That's a stare decisis case that Moors can use in the International Court of Justice.
And I'll show that one as well here.
France ran to the treaties that don't mean nothing. France ran to those no good for France ran to those good for nothing. The good for nothing don't mean nothing treaties. Ain't that something? The good for nothing don't mean nothing treaties. France.
I think this is the one. International Court of Justice.
Making the point.
No, absolutely. I just pulled it up. I just want to make sure that this is the one.
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
But this is 1952. Right?
The good for nothing don't have no power. Don't mean jack.
Let me see if I had that out.
Now hold on, T. So United States Constitution means jack, but this doesn't. The United States Constitution means jack, but these treaties don't mean jack. These treaties, 15, 16, 1700s, do not mean jack, but the United States Constitution does. T, this is a lack of study, T. That's all that is. T, it's a lack of study. They're taking a cue from somebody, T. They're taking a cue from somebody, T. They're taking a cue from somebody, T. They don't study, T. T, we got a bunch of T. We got people who don't read, T. They watch YouTube only, T. The people who present stuff on YouTube do not do what we're doing, present documents, encourage people to read. T, they're just listening, so it gets to so-and-so said, so-and-so said, so-and-so said, so-and-so said, so-and-so said, so-and-so said.
And so didn't say that.
No, when they listen to somebody.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But when you say, they say so-and-so didn't say that.
Yes, they'll say that too.
They said it or didn't say it. So instead of going to the document according to such and such.
They don't study. Because they call study, T, is turning on a YouTube and just Then that's my two.
And don't get it wrong. I don't want to just sit back and criticize somebody for, but this is what's what's happening, and that's what's happening. This is what's happening. Is when somebody do the YouTube thing and they call it studying.
I mean, yeah, that's what they do. I mean,
yeah, and so it becomes it's a weakness. It's a weakness in in this entire movement. When
we got to be critical.
Yeah.
Don't, man, stop apologizing.
Well,
no.
I take it back then.
Thank you. That's why I want him to take it back. No, serious, T. Nah, man. T, don't apologize. Nah.
All right. Let's go. Let's
go
at it. All right, here we go. Where are we? Okay. We're at question number 7. Question number 7. Let me put it back up here. What is a landmark case in the United States Supreme Court that states that pre-Revolutionary War rights was granted to British subjects before the war are protected in the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States?
That's Society versus New Haven, 1823, that we brought up earlier about 15 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Society versus New Haven.
Yes. All right. So number 8, why don't the original 13 states operate under the Articles of Confederacy?
All right. As I said earlier, is that in 1780, all of the states, by 1780, all of the states had enacted the Confiscation Act and some Trespassing Act. Those laws remained on the books even after the Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and the United States had been signed and ratified. And so they were still enforcing those acts, T. Mm-hmm. All right. So the Articles of Confederation, the way it's structured is that it did not lend for a structure for compliance for treaty. And also for them, for the United States and Congress assembled the central governing body to collect war debts. The states were moving slow, taking their time. Remember, you got these war debts. They got to pay Spain and the Netherlands and Great Britain. You can't mess around with no war debts. See, that's no. This is major. You're talking about violation of treaty international law, and then slow the foot to pay war debts. See, that causes collapse. You're a debtor. I mean, this is major. So definitely they can't, because that structure proves to be too weak. So this is why you have in the Constitution, once again, Vitale is heavily referenced in the Federalist Papers. You have a lot of elements in international law in the United States Constitution, because they wanted to make sure that it's structured to be in compliance to international law and treaties, and also allow them to pay off their debts. Mm-hmm. This is major.
All righty. Number 9. Does the United States have the authority to dissolve the 1783 definitive peace treaty? Absolutely no. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Does the United States have the authority to dissolve the 1783 definitive peace treaty? Now, keep in mind, absolutely not. But keep in mind, that is the treaty that allows New York, North Carolina
to operate. Yes,
the parent body, the parent body to assume rights under the various charters. All right, to operate in the boundaries. That, all right, take that treaty away.
They have nothing to refer back to.
They don't want that to be dissolved.
All of these Supreme Court cases.
That's what I'm saying. They don't want that to be dissolved. because that is the instrument that allows them to operate in those boundaries. It ain't the Articles of Confederation. It's not the Declaration of Independence. It's not the United States Constitution. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right, 10. Why did the United States issue a commemorative stamp in 1983 commemorating ratification of 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States?
Giving honor to the ruling authority and instrument, the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States, recognizing its importance for them. It is their foundational authority. Their foundational authority is not the United States Constitution. All right, without that treaty, without that treaty. All right. The name New York Colony. New York Colony. New York is patent in the colony charter. New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina. Their names are patent in there. They're assuming rights under those charters via the treaty. So they're acknowledging the vital importance of that treaty through that commemorative stamp. Remember, the general public is not aware of this. They're not aware of the they're not.
I'm just trying to pull them up so we can see what they.
General public, that includes Albions and Moors, meaning in the textbook they only have a page, if that. Like, they don't put great importance. They're not doing Abdullah Bay. They're not putting great importance on this treaty. They'll say, well, just ended the war, ended the Revolutionary War, and they move on. All right. They don't have, page after page, a whole chapter on it. This treaty is ultra important to them. This treaty is more important to the United States than the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Great United States and Morocco. Huh? The definitive peace treaty allows the parent body, 13 original states, to assume rights under the treaty between Great Britain, between the United States and Morocco doesn't. Like which one's more important? The definitive peace treaty. That allows them to operate assuming rights under the charter. They're assuming rights under the charters are not dissolved. The royal charters, the proprietary, they're not dissolved. You can't assume rights under a charter that's been dissolved. Absolutely. You dissolve the charter. All right, how you People versus Waddle. Martin versus Waddle. In there, not Abdullah Bay. New Jersey, what? State, New Jersey, what? Claims to assume rights under that charter. We're gonna show it.
Absolutely. Hey, let me go back to it.
Go Martin versus Waddle.
Martin versus Waddle. Let me go back to you real quick.
Yep, Martin versus Waddle. Not Abdullah Bay said. So if they dissolve it, those colonies, those charters aren't dissolved. You can't assume rights on a charter that's been dissolved. Based on contract law principles. If it's dissolved, then there's no If you dissolve it, that means what? It doesn't exist anymore. The authority to even assume rights, it has no authority, no legs anymore. You take the legs from it. It has no. You can't assume rights on a charter that's been dissolved. So it's a lot. It's a lot coming out of this stuff. I'm telling you. You start analyzing. I want to thank Shem Malachi Bey, my man. See, I thought before studying on the Shem that those colony charters had been dissolved. When Shem gave us Society versus New Haven in 2019, what I had thought all those years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking all these years that those charters been dissolved. I said, ooh, this case Society versus God. Shem, oh my God. That's how I was. I mean, shot like a child in the candy store.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Here's Martin versus Waddle here. I just wanted to show the case here. You blow it up a little bit.
And my reaction I gave a few minutes ago, I'm not exaggerating. See, I was just like that. I'm dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
Shem will tell you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm fumbling around with this with the StreamYard. I'm usually on OBS where I can just click the name and go right to the document. And all of these documents, I'm just sitting here throwing them around and losing them right in front of my face.
He going to go right to that section so they can see for themselves.
So this is Martin versus Waddle here. All right. And, I highlighted in blue here. I copied it off of the website, and this is the link for it as well, right here. All right, here it is. This is it. It says no words are used for the purpose of withholding from the crown any of its ordinary and well-known prerogatives. The surrender, according to its evident object and meaning, restored them in the same plight and condition in which they originally came to the hands of the Duke of York. When the people of New Jersey took possession of the reins of government and took into their own hands the power of sovereignty, the prerogatives and regalities, which I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me start this over because this light is in my eyes and I'm going blurry right now. No words are used for the purpose of withholding from the crown of any of its ordinary and well-known prerogatives. The surrender, according to its evident object and meaning, restored them in the same plight and condition in which they originally came to the hands of the Duke of York. When the people of New Jersey took possession of their reins of government and took into their own hands the power of sovereignty, the page 41 US 369, the prerogatives and regalities which before belonged either to the crown or the parliament became immediately and rightfully vested in the state. Did we have anything else on this? I think it was 2. All right, just speak on that one here.
Yes. So this is here where New Jersey is making claim here of assuming rights under the on New York. New York assuming rights under the charter. So that's what that is. This is just support here. We support here that those charters are not dissolved and that the states are assuming rights under the charter.
Mm-hmm.
Via Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We talk about the letters patent here.
Mm-hmm.
With Duke of York. To say the court.
Yeah, so this just supported. We can go to the next question.
All righty.
That's just to support.
Let's go.
Let's give them support so they won't say Abdullah said anything.
All right. Let's go back to the questions here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're at 11. 11. Why are there no annual ceremonies or national holidays celebrating the ratification of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States?
All right, to as I said before, the light we're shining light on this treaty here. Those of United States officials and state officials have not shined light on it. All right, had because they don't want the general public to know. Just like the attorney, the defense attorney in the Society versus New Haven case, he made the argument that society doesn't have any rights under the charter of Great Britain because the Revolutionary War extinguished that right. Where did he get that from? Because he's not the only one. This is 1823. I mean, what he presented in 1823, Terrence, is still the prevailing concept among Moors, classified nigger color black, and some conscious Moors, as well as Europeans. That this 1823, that still exists. They think that the Revolutionary War extinguished. So that's been pushed. Why does that exist? Unless that's been pushed deliberately. That's why. Because remember, it's not emphasized, it's not discussed. 1776, July 4th, every year, July 4th every year. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, like, fireworks. All right. It's not emphasized. It's de-emphasized. That's why.
All right.
Next question.
All right. Just want to take a quick 5-second break. Just to say like, comment, and subscribe. All right. All right. Next question. All right. I think we're on 12. Okay. Do the 13 original states who derived their original foundational authority to operate in the territorial boundaries outlined in the 13 English/British charters and relinquish them by the English-British Crown through Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States have authority to restore the Moorish land rights to the Moors?
All right, no. New York State, North Carolina State, Commonwealth of Virginia, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, North Carolina State, Georgia State, Rhode Island State, Massachusetts State, Vermont State, Maryland State, Delaware State, none of the parent bodies, as well as, of course, the children of the parent bodies, the other states, do not have any authority. New York State does not have authority to sit down with the Moors to negotiate land rights to the Moors. Article 1. Where does New York State derive authority to operate in that boundary from the Great Britain Definitive Peace Treaty? So how does New York State, North Carolina State, Georgia State, Maryland State, Commonwealth of Virginia can sit down with the Moors and negotiate? I know it's our land, but you talking about going to New York State now. Land boundaries that's outlined in the county charters. That means we got to go to what? To Great Britain.
Great Britain.
We shouldn't like those, T.
Because this is where they're getting their authority.
T, I said it, T. My claim, T, as the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States is the ruling authority for the United States. That's the title of my book coming your way November of this year. That's my claim. I'm standing here, sitting here, and supporting my claim.
Don't Don't forget about the sovereignty.
People versus Godfrey. Don't forget about the sovereignty of the ground. Mm-hmm. People versus Godfrey. That's a New York State Supreme Court case. And they what? Went to that, they ran to that treaty, didn't they? Quick.
Absolutely.
T, they don't need to say Abdullah said anything, T. I mean, just look, they read it for yourself, y'all. They don't need to say Abdullah said anything.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go to 13. All right. Did the 13 British colonies chartered under the sovereignty of the English/British Crown become the original 13 original states?
No. All right. This is a major one, T. All right. T, where the concept lies is that they're looking at land mass. When they say colony, this is the general public, not jurists, the general public. When they think colony, T, the general public, they think land mass. They don't think a political entity. They're not thinking a political entity established by the crown with a charter. They're not thinking that. A jurist is trained to think that. When a jurist, a political entity created by the crown, such and such year, and they're looking at the instrument. A jurist, the general public, land. So when they say the colonies became the state, this is what they're thinking, the general public. New Jersey state took over the lands, the colony, they're only thinking land boundary. The general, that's Europeans and Moors, only thinking land boundaries. They're not thinking political entities. They're not thinking as a jurist that New Jersey colony and New Jersey state are two distinct political entities. A jurist thinks, a jurist will follow the contract T. That this is the authority, the crown, the year. They'll look at the charter. They'll look at the charters, the letters patent, the charters T. All right, they'll examine that political entity. They'll look New Jersey State T. They'll go to the New Jersey State Constitutional Convention of 1776 T. They'll go to New Jersey State Constitution of 1776 T. And that these are political entities, right? But the general public are not looking. I know where the misconceptions lie. I can address it. They're only looking at land T and not like a jurist. Political entities. So that's why they say the colonies. The states became the colonies became the states because they now, you don't know what you're talking about, Abdullah, because they're only looking at land. They're not looking at the contracts. Mm-hmm. That's where because they're not trained, T. They're not trained to think like jurists, not trained in details of contract, T. Mm-hmm. That's where the misconception lies. I know where it is. I can address it. We can raise these people, T, by the millions.
All right.
Next one, I think I addressed that.
Next question.
Just where the misconception lies.
All right.
Once you understand where the misconception lies.
Okay. Did 13? Oh, I'm sorry. We're on 14. By what authority did the royal governors in the royal colonies, the lord proprietors and the proprietary colonies, and the companies in the corporate colonies have to separate from the English/British crown and declare independence from the English/British crown?
They have no authority to do that, T. All right. The charters don't give them that authority. All right. So you say by what authority? Then I have to go by what authority? Then I have to go to an instrument. All right. All right. So the instrument is the charters, the royal charters, the company charter, and the proprietary charters. I got to go to that, and I have to see. I don't know what else to do. I got to go see. I don't see where they have authority to do that. See, their whole existence is, the proprietors with letters of patent. Without that, they don't. If you remove the county charters from William Penn, take it from William Penn, he don't have no authority. Take that. If the crown takes it from the Penn family, they don't have no authority.
Mm-hmm.
Next one.
All right. Let's go. I just want that to sink in a little bit here. All right. 15. Did the 13 English British colonies, proprietary colonies, royal colonies, company colonies, chartered under the sovereignty of the English/British Crown, declare independence from the British Crown in 1776?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What happened is that the British subjects revolted against their mother, the crown. That's what happened. Not the colonies did not do that. The colonies did not revolt. The Lord Proprietors,
Mm-hmm.
all right, the stockholders of Virginia Company, the Lord Proprietors of the proprietary colonies, and the governors of the royal colonies did not revolt. It was the subjects who revolted. Because you're saying the colonies, you're talking the royal colonies, that's the Lord Proprietors, the governors of the royal colonies, the stockholders of the company colonies. All right, show me where they revolted. Where's the evidence? Because their authority is under that. They have no authority outside of that.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, Abdullah, because you know what, I actually kind of forgot about the the StreamYard and the the comments, so I just wanted to read off a couple of these real quick.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so we see here's one right here. Sheehan. All right, so at Moroccan Post, it says, so the 13 original independent states operating under the colony charters of the crown have more pull independently pertaining to affairs in their political zones than the U.S.
Yes. People versus Godfrey. All right, People versus Godfrey. Also the he hit it. That's why everybody wasn't for this Constitutional Convention.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wasn't for Federalists.
Absolutely.
We had anti-Federalists.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what Sheehan stated,
mm-hmm.
They knew that. Everybody wasn't for that. He's right.
Mm-hmm.
People versus Godfrey.
Mm-hmm.
People versus Godfrey. You have it was People versus Godfrey is a case there. Also, yeah, the District of Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
District of Columbia, that the land, that Moorish territory, that 10 square miles was ceded by Virginia and Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Arlington and Alexandria was ceded by Virginia State and retroceded to them. He's right.
Mhm.
He's right. Article 1 of the I'm supporting this. I'm saying he's right. I'm providing evidence that he's right. Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty. Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. United States Viz. People versus Godfrey. He's right. But I'm going to explain, give evidence, show that he is right. Yes.
Mhm. All right. Cool.
So where do Moors fit in to this? Don't say it. Show it. T, as soon as they open their mouth, stop them. Before they say T, when you say, where do the Moors fit in? As soon as they open their mouth, before they say anything, they don't need to open T. It's not being disrespectful, T. It's not saying anything. Show it. You don't want to hear anything. Show it. That's it. Stop saying. Just show it. Just show it.
As close to the source as you can.
Show something for them. Show something.
Absolutely. See, because
so that I can examine it. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, show something.
Absolutely.
So right.
Because
something solid now.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Something solid.
Not.
Yeah.
See, we showing this. These are primary. We showing solid.
Absolutely.
That mean, hey,
that's a Supreme Court case.
Oh, all right, yeah. They stand on this. This People versus Godfrey. This is the state Supreme Court, 204 years old. That the state that state New York State stood on and referred to the treaty. And that's a 204-year-old case, T.
All right. Oh man. All right, peace, brother. Thanks for that, Sheehan. I see one by Yannick Dorsey. It says, please put number in the chat if you're in the Southeast Regional. Hey, brother Yannick, why don't you provide your email address so that they can email it to you?
Yes, yeah. Provide your email address. The Southeast Region, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, other states. I think Tennessee there, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Virginia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and then others I can't recall right now.
All right. So here's another one. Piccola. Oh, is that the Piccola?
Piccola,
peace sister. And I'll read her. It says, I thought that Article 6 of the Constitution wrote in by the Federalist writers, all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution, that shall be,
but what is it? What is I can't.
It says is relative to the. Let me see if she wrote anything else.
Because I can't.
Let me see if anything. Is that completed?
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing to me respond to.
Okay. All right. We'll.
Because it's not
let's see if she can complete that.
You got to complete the claim. I can't.
Yes. Let's see what that is.
I can't respond to a claim that's not completed, fully understood. Can't fully understand.
We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Hold on for a second. Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Is related to the people and citizenship. Let me see. Right here. Read up here. But not. It's the relationship between U.S. and Britain relationship, and that 1774 definitive peace treaty, I guess.
All right. United States owed debt to Spain. The Netherlands, and France assisted the United States in the war with Great Britain. They helped fund the United States. They were indebted to Spain, France, and the Netherlands. There were war debts called war debts, tremendous war debts that the United States owed. This is for the war, during the war. So by the time the treaty had been signed, the United States was indebted to, they had this tremendous war debt. So all debts or engagements is that also includes those war debts. They don't go away. So I don't, but I'm still not clear on the claim. I'm not.
All right.
I'm still not clear on the claim.
So it looks like we have about 5 minutes here. So I'll read a few more. Okay, I guess this is Oopsie Daisy. Oh, let's show that one here. I've got it up there. It says, I'm going back to the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and compare against the Definitive Peace Treaty. That blew my mind. Absolutely, because these treaties are not presented in this form. In fact, most of the treaties that that we present is not, I guess, is not widely known through the movement because nobody has talked about them. The only one, the first one that I've heard, that I've been hearing since I've been involved, the main one that I hear is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. That's the main one that I hear. And then there are other ones with the Tripoli and two other ones, but none of the ones that Shim presented us with. I have not heard, never even knew about them. Abdullah had in first Moors and Masonry Part 1, he mentioned, treaties.
Yeah, I got a list about 100 of them.
Yes. So even Abdullah thought that those treaties didn't know the power of those treaties and what effect they have, even today.
Even to the day.
So
yes. No.
I'm sorry, we're back.
Go ahead. All right, so here we got
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
So
all right, so I want y'all to thank y'all for riding with us for these 2 hours. All right, like, comment, and subscribe. All right, so Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. Share the videos. Also go to mooresandmasonry.org. You can pre-order Moors and Masonry Part 2, which will be coming your way very, very soon. All right. Thanking those who have already pre-ordered and been very patiently waiting for your book. I greatly appreciate all of you. All right. Greatly appreciate all of you. We'll see y'all on Wednesday, March 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is our a series, Moorish Treaty Protection and Consolations. Affidavit and complaint will be the topic. All right, Moors and Masonry. All right, you see my series of books, Moors and Masonry Part 1, the Masonic Complex Square and the Connection of Timekeeping and Measurement, Illuminati and Nature of the Mind, How Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology Vocabulary, Something That You Want, and your way, coming your way soon, Moors and Masonry Part 2. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. I want to thank you again. Thumbs up to Crumb TV.
Big
all
up
right.
to Crumb.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for this, for the platform. If this is your first time, once again, if you're just coming on, yes, we're about to be out. But like, comment, subscribe on your way in, and
share the post.
Oh, absolutely, and definitely
share the post and post the post.
All right. So next up, you'll see. I believe it's going to be MOI and Crip Jesus.
Right on.
They are what is that? Attack on the Black. What's that here? Oh, here it is. Boom.
Masculinity.
Oh, go ahead and read it.
Yes, watch TV, Come TV live in 30 minutes. Attack on the Black masculinity with
Right.
MOI and Crumb Jesus. That's actually went in 6 minutes, 5 minutes.
All right. So
5 minutes.
So peace, everyone.
Yep.
And yeah, we're out of here.
Peace.